Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, we are jumping straight in today. We've got a really specific, very complex stack of sources, all focused on political eschatology, contemporary prophecy, and they're dated right now, November 2025.
Yeah, this stuff is, it's dense. But the central argument running through all of them is pretty clear.
So what's our mission here? Just lay it out.
Our goal is just to unpack it impartially. What's the core argument? Well, it's that Donald J. Trump fits the archetype, the biblical archetype of the Antichrist.
Okay, wow.
And crucially, that the huge evangelical support for him, over 80% back in 2024, is presented in these sources as direct evidence of the strong delusion.
The strong delusion. That's 2 Thessalonians 2.11, right?
Exactly, that specific reference. So they're not seeing him as just like a political figure, a disruptor.
No, it sounds much more deliberate than that.
Very deliberate. They frame him as a kind of pseudo-Christos, is just the term for Matthew 24, like a sophisticated imitation of parody of Christ.
Almost fulfilling the man of sin role mentioned, also in 2 Thessalonians.
That's precisely the connection they make. They see it as a pattern being fulfilled, not just random events.
Okay, these are massive claims. We need to get specific. How do these sources actually, map scripture onto this individual? What's the typology?
Well, they're meticulous about it. They connect specific events and characteristics. Take Daniel 7.8, the little horn that speaks great things. They link that directly to Trump's rhetoric, particularly statements like, the famous one, "I alone can fix it."
That kind of bombastic style.
Exactly. And then there's the physical aspect.
Right.
Revelation 13.3, the fatal wound that was healed.
Right, the assassination attempt, July 2024.
That's the one. The sources argue his survival specifically prompted that global wonder mentioned in the text. It wasn't just news. It was, to them, prophetic fulfillment.
And geopolitically, I see notes on the Abraham Accords.
Yes, they bring that in too. The original 2020 Accords, which are being discussed now in 2025 for expansion, they're even calling them the Cyrus Accords in some circles.
Okay.
The sources cite this as the groundwork, the preparation for the covenant with many from Daniel 9.27.
It's quite a detailed picture they're painting, the rhetoric, the event, the diplomacy. But you mentioned the support aspect is key.
Yes.
The sources call the evangelical support a tragedy, evidence of this strong delusion. Why? What's the mechanism they propose for that?
They frame it theologically as judicial reciprocity. It sounds complex, but the idea is basically divine consequence.
Okay.
They argue God actively sends an energia, like a strong influence or delusionary power, specifically because people receive not the love of the truth. It's presented as a response to rejecting wisdom.
So it's not just passive ignorance, it's an active blinding. How does that show up practically, according to them?
Well, they say it manifests as an impairment of the nous, the mind, the understanding. It leads to complete inversion of values.
Like what? Give an example.
For instance, embracing certain policies, maybe judicial picks, over what they see as core Christian ethics. Or preferring hostile language, like the vermin rhetoric,
Right.
over the command to love your enemies, Matthew 5.44. They see it as a clear sign of this impaired nous.
Okay, that explains the why, according to these documents. Now, let's bring it right up to November 2025. How are current events being used to sort of seal the case?
They point to several very specific things happening now. First, what they call boastful exaltation post-election. Claims like, I run the country and the world.
Okay, heard some of that. What else?
Second, there's the February 2025 proposal for Trump Gaza. They see this not as peacemaking, but as dividing the land for political gain, linking it directly to a prophecy in Daniel 11 about dividing land.
False peace, essentially.
That's how they frame it. False peace and division.
And economically, or symbolically. There's mention of AI, crypto, and specific objects.
Yeah, the 2025 agenda talking points about AI regulation and crypto capital, they view that as a clear prelude to the economic mark of the beast system.
Setting the stage.
Setting the stage. And finally, what they term syncretistic idolatry. This is where the specific objects come in, the repeated mentions of him with the Torah crown.
Right, that was back in 2023 and again recently.
Yes, and the use of purple carpets, specifically during the Saudi visit back in May 2025. They interpret these visuals very pointedly.
How so?
As deliberate, calculated mockeries of Christ's specific symbols of royalty and authority. Purple, the crown. It's seen as deeply blasphemous mimicry. So if you step back and look at the whole picture they're painting, it's not just about one man. It's presented as this cumulative case.
Right.
And the sources are essentially issuing a demand to the church Test the spirits, like it says in 1 John 4.1.
Don't just accept things blindly.
Exactly. And reject mixtures, the blending of, spiritual things with raw political power.
Yeah.
They cite 2 Corinthians 6.14 on that, about being unequally yoked.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? These sources are making an incredibly detailed, frankly, overwhelming claim.
Based on scripture, specific timings, 2025 events.
So here's the final thought we want to leave you with. When you get this much complex information condensed like this, does the sheer cumulative weight of all these detailed accusations, even if they come from different places, does that weight itself make the overall argument feel more persuasive, maybe more compelling, than any single piece of evidence could be on its own? Something to consider.